Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. We are live. This is another episode of Real Talk with Mary Grace. It is Thursday, the 11th of March, 2021. Yes, tomorrow is my birthday. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I hope there's not too much background noise going on here. Welcome to everybody. Welcome. Come in. Looks like we have people coming in on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. When you come in on YouTube, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the reminder. So hit the bell so that you won't miss my shows. And it's good to have you guys in here. Welcome. Come on in. Somebody said they missed me yesterday. I have not been broadcasting on Wednesdays. I cut back to 3 days a week. So good to see everybody. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Good to see you all here. So welcome. I'm just looking at the chat here. This is Real Talk with Mary Grace, and you're welcome here. If you're on Facebook, please share this into groups. We're getting a little bit bigger reach over on Facebook since they stopped. Well, they haven't stopped. You guys are just getting good at sharing into groups. So please keep doing that. And then somebody please take this link and put it in my Telegram chat. That would be great. From whatever platform you're on, I would appreciate that. So, okay. Somebody's commenting on the studio. Thank you. I'm working on it. There's more to do, but I'm just trying out a couple of things. So it's good to see everybody here. And for those of you who missed it, I was on Greg Harvey's show this morning. He is on Clout Hub. He's on Clout Hub channel 117. He has a show called Greenbeard. He's Greenbeard. He is on Periscope, and I can't remember his channel. I have my backup Periscope. So if you're watching me on Periscope right now on Real Mary Grace, that's my backup. I am trying to get my main channel back on Twitter and on Periscope. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean, Periscope is going away at the end of the month, but I sure would like to get back in there and get access to my stuff. And then also, I think at some point we'll be going live on Twitter. So my Twitter account right now, the backup one is Real Mary Grace 1. So they didn't tell me when they suspended me that it was a permanent suspension. I mean, they didn't delete the account, and they didn't tell me I needed to delete anything. They just said, that I was being a bad girl. I still don't know why, but we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Somebody's asking me how much weight has Greg Harvey lost. I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that he is shrinking. He's like the incredible shrinking Greenbeard. And he's got more energy than he ever imagined he would. And so one of the benefits of the superfoods that a lot of people really didn't count on is just the mental and emotional benefit, because when you're putting really high quality nutrients into your body, it affects the gut, which affects the brain. And if you're dealing with that kind of thing, it's worth looking into. If you're dealing with brain fog, if you're dealing with the the gray skies, the depression, hard to get motivated, things like that, low energy, this is something to look into. So even if you don't feel like you need to lose weight, there's a really integral connection between the gut and the brain and the thinking and the mind. So people are starting to do more research on that. And so if you're new and you haven't heard me talk about superfoods before, I've partnered with a superfoods company. And so we're getting organic green superfoods right to your door in a shelf stable format. And it really is truly transformative. We have a lot of people who are experiencing better health than they've experienced in a very long time because they've gotten on the superfoods. So we have a transformation program. It's a 30-day program. Some people do it for 90. It's really a lifestyle thing, but you start with 30, and you can get that. You can get $100 off of the 30-day supply if you write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and you can get a coupon code to save $100 off of retail. So it's a good deal. I have a lot of people here who've done it, and they're very happy. And it looks like my chat has completely slowed down over here on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're there, say hello. Um, Now, I wanted to jump into the news a little bit here and talk about some of the things that I've seen happening. I haven't been super focused on the news in terms of just tracking every single thing that happens in the news. There are some good sources out there that are giving you a rundown of what's happening day to day. That's not really what I'm doing. Um, and uh, and so I just wanted to make that clear. I'm not really a news source. I really just do more interpretation and commentary on what's happening. Um, Debbie Thomas, Telegram on superfoods. Debbie, if you're a customer of superfoods, write me an email, info@marygracemedia.com. I'll give you that link. Okay. So just to be clear on that. So when you hear me talk about different things, I just I'm not really tracking every single thing that happens. I'm not saying that I'm not tracking it. I'm just saying that I'm choosing to talk about certain things. Okay, Ivana on YouTube, info@marygracemedia.com, and then you'll get the link to the superfoods. I don't post it on social media. So info@marygracemedia.com. I'll be happy to send that to you. All right. If somebody wants to put that email address in the chat, that would be great. Okay. Now, I did want to talk about something. I titled my broadcast today, "Dominoes, the Dominoes." I don't know if you've noticed something about what's happening right now. Um, I don't know if you've noticed that uh, some crazy things are happening. Hold on a second. So, Ivana, if you already emailed me, can you try again? It might have gone into spam, but my reply might have gone into your spam. Sometimes I get emails that bounce back. Okay. Um, so, and if you can hang on the broadcast, I can have more of a conversation about that with you afterwards. All right. So I wanted to talk about the dominoes because I don't know if you've noticed that the news is coming out about a lot of people that are getting investigated and implicated, and one of the main ones is Cuomo. And 6 months ago, he acted like he was completely invincible, and now Mayor De Blasio, of all people, is calling for Cuomo to step down. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? And now we're seeing more information coming out about corruption from Whitmer, the wicked witch woman who's the governor of, is it Wisconsin or Michigan? I think it's Wisconsin. No, Minnesota. They're sorry for you guys who live up there. I know it's not all the same, but it's sort of blended in my mind. I apologize. Uh yeah, so these people, the thing about the left, Michigan, thank you. The thing about the left is that this is where things start to fall apart because they are not operating from a place of love. And so they're not actually a team. When you have people who are controlled by the demonic, when they're motivated by evil, there's no honor among thieves. And so, it's only a matter of time before uh, before some people will throw other people under the bus, right? Think about that. And so, We're in a time where we're going to see more and more of these Hamans going to their own gallows. That's what I think is happening. And one of the reasons that I think you're seeing it now is that a lot of this revelation had to come out. A lot of the investigations, a lot of the accusations, the really a lot of the really big stories had to come out after President Trump was seemingly out of the picture, because he couldn't appear to be the one attacking. It couldn't appear to be coming from him. Does that make sense? So even though we knew, even though President Trump knew, even though he's been well aware of it all this time, some of the pieces of this puzzle could not be revealed until it appeared as though President Trump uh, was out of the picture. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing these people that are getting hit by evidence. The accusations are coming out. uh, Cuomo is under investigation for what he did in the nursing homes, as he should be. And they're using these allegations of sexual impropriety as a distraction. But I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to stick, because it's too big. What he did in the nursing homes is way too big. And so I think you're going to see more and more of that. It looks like Whitmer was engaged in a cover up and she paid somebody off. That's never a good thing, especially when it comes back to you. And one of the things that I've been encouraging is that, the people at the lower levels who got involved in these kind of crimes, whether it was election fraud or nursing home fraud or whatever, some of them got caught up in the moment. They were, um, shredding ballots. They were, participating in the crimes because of the emotion or whatever. The thing that I've been encouraging, and a lot of people have, is if you're one of those people and you worked in an office somewhere and you got caught up in this in the heat of the moment, thinking that you were doing the right thing because you were manipulated, and that you were thinking, orange man bad, I have to do this, right? They don't care about you. And so if you're one of those people, you better come forward. Uh, you better come forward, because they don't care about you. And I think that's part of what's happening is, people that worked for Cuomo are coming forward. People are being given deals. They're being offered deals, because the truth is they don't care about you. There's no honor among thieves. And so I think that it's important to see that, and just continue to pray that people, that their conscience would get to them. Um, yeah, because somebody just made a comment here: the lower levels will pay the price, not the higher levels. Yeah, so if you think that what you did, if you're at the lower level, mid management or lower, you're an election worker or something, and you were doing these crimes, um, you better come clean, because nobody at the top is going to protect you. They're not going to have your back. They will not step in to protect you. And so we're seeing more and more of that. I think we're going to see more and more of people coming forward and spilling the beans and trying to get either, a, a pass or a lesser sentence or whatever it is. So that's what I think we're seeing. And the other thing that we're seeing, is we're getting a lot of movement, a lot of communication out of President Trump. Have you noticed that? And what I think he's doing is kind of interesting, because he's doing all these endorsements. Um, he's doing all these endorsements, and so I wonder why he's doing that. I wonder why. And to answer the question on YouTube, do you really think that Biden's attorney general will really prosecute any election fraud? No, I don't. But that's predicated on the fact that on the assumption that everything is going to stay as it is, and I don't believe that. So, how long will it take for things to get turned around? I don't know. Will it take until 2024? No. Because why would the president be endorsing candidates like Herschel Walker for anything? I mean, Herschel's not a candidate yet, but he's encouraging him to run. Why would he be encouraging anything like that if he didn't know that there was going to be clean elections? President Trump is if nothing else, he's very pragmatic. He's not going to waste his time writing letters and putting out press releases uh, for for elections that would be stolen again. And he's not stupid. So if he's endorsing people and he's putting his name on MAGA candidates, then why is he doing that? Just ask yourself, why would he even waste the ink to sign the endorsement if there's not something better on the horizon? Why would he do that? So, I think that he is. I think one of the things that we underestimated, one of the things that he underestimated, or that we underestimated, is um, that we were just assuming, we were kind of assuming that the swamp was mostly the left. What we didn't really get fully was that the swamp is the entire political class. And that, what we're starting to understand, and what people who work in Washington will tell you, is that the Washington elites, that the people who get elected to office, there really aren't two parties. It's a uniparty, and they have created their own little cottage industry of ripping off the American people day in and day out. And the American people are now wise to this. They're waking up to it more and more and more. And every single action that we see out of Congress, for example, today, the rhinos that endorsed the gun control, massive nationwide gun control. I mean, the president is the president is outing them every single day. That's what he's doing. And that is what the American people need to see. And he's showing us, and the Congress is actually showing us themselves. They're showing us every single day. I mean, you get people like Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress. She was trying to stop. She was trying to adjourn Congress because she didn't want them to go through with voting on this bill that would harm the American people. And she called for a floor vote, which means that everybody had to leave what they were doing and walk over to the chamber and actually be there presently and physically to vote. And the interesting thing about that is that there were Republicans who got mad at her for calling a floor vote to stop to vote to adjourn Congress for the day so that they would stop that path of destruction. There were Republicans who got mad at her because her calling for the floor vote interrupted their day. And this is where the American people are starting to get super fed up because because they work for us. And there's a vote coming up where they're voting to spend your money and to spend it really badly on their own pet projects, and they're only going to spend a very, 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 very tiny percentage on relief for the citizens. So they're voting to give your money away. And she wants to stop them from even having a session. And Republicans and Democrats are getting mad at her for making them do their job that you elected them to do. Think about that. And I've said this for quite a while, but I'll say it again because, the people who get put in Congress for the most part, um, for the most part, they are, um, for the most part, hold on. For the most part, they don't care. They don't care about you. All they do from the minute they get elected is try to get reelected and to get involved, to get more donors, to get more money. That's it. And they're compromised either by choice or by blackmail. Uh, but either way, they're not there working for you. I mean, so you get people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and what the president is doing is he's identifying those people and he's endorsing them. So Matt Gaetz is one of them. Uh, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's trying to get Herschel Walker to run for president. It's so funny, isn't it? Because, I mean, I thought President Trump was racist, and yet he put out a press release asking Herschel Walker to run for office. Does that make sense to you? How can a racist president do that? How can he pick somebody like that to run for office? I mean, isn't that the opposite of racist? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, so the money on the stimulus bill is $17,000 for 1,500. Yeah, $1.9 trillion dollars. Yeah, $1,400. Yeah. And actually I think that 1,400 is the balance of the 2,000 that the president wanted to give us to give back to people. It's your money. Don't forget that. Never forget that. It's your money. They're playing monopoly with your money. Doesn't that mean um doesn't that make you mad? By president, do you mean there's only one president? His name is Donald J. Trump. Just to be clear, in case you missed it. Yeah, there's one president. So here's what I wanted to caution you about too, is because something is happening that is making a lot of people angry. And I want you guys to be very careful because they are trying to set up a false flag. All right. They're trying to set up a situation that will justify their gun grab. And so you need to be really careful because in signing this bill and putting people into a position, putting people into a situation where they feel like they need to take up arms, that's actually part of their strategy, is because they're trying to push the gun grab, but they're also trying to push civil war. And they want they want people to take up arms against each other, for one thing, right? So you need to be really careful about that because that was part of what's behind the agenda of this entire ruse, this entire pandemic, all of the situation where they put, basic $10 an hour workers in charge of policing whether you have a mask on or not, right? They did that on purpose to pit individuals against each other. I don't know if you saw that video of that Bath and Body Works thing where the people that worked there were tackling a customer to the ground. That's not okay. I told you about my story where I was, singled out and where the manager and the people in the store were ganging up on me. It's a really bad deal. It's a bad idea. Yeah, and Minneapolis, yeah, that's of course a hot spot because of the trial um, that's going on with um, Derek Chauvin, the police officer that allegedly was over the George Floyd situation. So, there's a lot of situations right now that are ripe, for exploitation. So my advice to you is, you know, keep your powder dry. Don't give in to the temptation to fight your fellow man. Don't do that because that's what they want. They want to, yeah, they want to provoke a violent reaction so that they can justify saying, see, this is why we need to take their guns. And this is like, when you look at the whole thing in DC, if you remember last week, March 4th, they tried to set up this whole thing, where they were saying that Trump supporters were going to come in um, to the city and create havoc, and there was going to be all kinds of violence, right? They wanted to set the stage for a clash. And, we didn't take the bait. And one of the things that is really bothering them is that we're not taking the bait. And so when it comes to the Second Amendment thing, it's important that you don't take the bait. See what I mean? Because that's exactly what they want you to do. They're trying to drive you to a breaking point. They're trying to drive you over the edge to where you say, okay, this is the last straw. And then you take up arms against your neighbor. The whole thing, everything they do is a trap. So this is just their latest thing. So just sit tight, you know, because there are people who aren't aware. They need to be aware. They're not quite there yet, but I think it's coming. I think they are going to become aware. Now that being said, there's always a certain amount, always a certain uh percentage of the population that just doesn't want to know. They don't want to know anything except their own little world. They want to keep the peace. They just want to follow whatever they're told to do. They don't want, they don't want to be inconvenienced. They don't want to uh, be bothered. They don't want to know about politics. They just want to be told what to do. And that's been happening all throughout history, and it's a bigger percentage than you actually realize because you think about when the people were with Moses in the desert and he went up the mountain to see God, what did they say? Did they say, hey, we want to come, we want to know the truth? No, they actually said, uh, you go back without us, we don't want to see God, we're afraid. And so there's this incredible passivity among the masses that has existed for a long, long time. And there's unfortunately a real high level of gullibility too. And that is how the media, that is how the deep state are able to brainwash an entire population into believing that there's something so dangerous and so deadly out there that you can just put anything whatsoever over your face and it will prevent it. I mean, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little weird, to be honest. Um, so that's and that is, unfortunately, that's just historic. It's not even a statistical anomaly. It's just the truth. It's just how people are. And, anytime you're in if you've ever studied statistics, anytime you look at a statistical sample of a heterogeneous population, what you see is a bell curve. And, have you seen the bell curve before? It's like that. And anytime you have that, uh, you you're always going to have the outer edges. So you have the extremes, which is like 10 to 40%. So you got 20%. You got really like the outer extremes, for example, like of intellect, right? IQ. You've got on the really high IQ side, you've got Donald Trump, Albert Einstein, people like that who have really high IQ. Then you've got those people that are on like the flat part leading up to the curve, that have like, like low hundreds to about 120 IQ, right? You got that. But then you've got like the whole middle of the bell curve. And that's just like your average people. That's the people that are saying, hey, I need to get that thing in my arm because I got to be safe. And they're not going to research, you know? All they want to do is be able to just go on with their life. So if it means that they have to do that, they're going to get that thing so they can get the paper that proves that they're safe to travel. They're not going to be fighting it. They're not fighting out loud. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is, you know? And so throughout history, that you've always got the people, um, throughout history, you've always got the people that are going to be on the edge, right? Who are leading, who are out front, who are going, we can't stand for this. This isn't going to fly. It's never the masses that do that. It's always the outliers. Um, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that almost gets arrested in a store because I won't wear the mask because I'm going to speak up, right? President Trump, he's one of those people. He's not in the middle of the bell curve. He's not a follower, right? And I mean, I dare say that the people that are in Congress, they're actually in the middle of that bell curve because even though they might have done something extraordinary to get there, uh, they have they have just put themselves right there in the middle of the uniparty, and now they're not making waves because they want to be comfortable. They're fat and happy, and so they're not pushing the outer edges anymore, you know? And so, when it comes to the Great Awakening, when it comes to people waking up to what's been going on, uh, most people I think are going to wake up. There's going to be a percentage on that other end of the curve that you'll never get back. They're probably going to be wearing masks their whole life. And then they're going to wonder why they have lung infections 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, why they have cancer, because they've created an acidic environment in their lungs day in and day out by breathing in their own waste, right? They're not going to get it because they're so brainwashed. So just, I think it's helpful to know that, to understand. But, I've told this story before, but I think that it's worth saying again because I think people need to understand this. That I was at the eye doctor one day and I was doing the eye exam, and my eye doctor was showing me, the little things where you flip the images and you say, okay, is this one more clear or this one? This one, this one, this one, this one. You know how they do that? So I'm looking at the images and, you know, she flips one and then she flips the other one and I say, well, when you flip this one, well, the top edge of this one looks clear, but then the bottom edge of this one looks less clear. But if you flip the other one, it's just the reverse. And then she stops me and she says, okay, you're getting too detailed on this. You're focusing on detail. I said, but that's what you asked me to do. She said, um, she said, you don't need that much detail on this. And she said, you're actually highly unusual because, most of my patients who come in don't even focus on that stuff. They don't see what it is that you're talking about. They'll just say yes or no. She said, in fact, and I said, really? I said, it kind of bothers me that, that you're going so fast that I'm not getting to focus on it. And so, so she said, actually, you might be surprised to know that a lot of my patients ask me to make their prescription a little bit blurry. I was so floored when she told me that. I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, a lot of patients, a lot of my optometry patients, when they get glasses, they want their prescription to be slightly out of focus." That still blows my mind, you guys. I couldn't believe it. And but it's such an apt metaphor for where we are in society. Most people don't want to know, you know? They're just turning on the TV, they're going to the gym, they're watching the CNN, right? They're being programmed. If you tell them something different, it doesn't compute. I thought it was strange, but apparently that's a thing. They don't want they don't want that much stimulation. They don't want all that detail. It's too much for them to handle. Mhm. So go back and think what I was saying about the masses. They just want to be they just want to be fed, right? Just like when Moses was bringing the just like when Moses was, bringing the people through the desert. They just wanted to be fed. A lot of them wanted to go back to Egypt because there was food there, even though they were slaves. I mean, think about it. That's where we are now. Think about the number of people who are willing to just walk in a store and put that face covering on. And how many people have said to you over the past year, "Oh, it's just a mask. I just don't I don't want to I don't want the hassle. I don't want people to look at me. I don't want people to get mad at me, you know. I don't want to have to stand up for my rights. I'd rather just give them away. Oh, it's just a vaccine. I don't want to have to stand up for my God-given rights. I'd rather just give them away because a little bit of discomfort over 5 minutes, it's not worth it." That's what most people are. And so that's why you have people like us who are out there saying, "No, no, 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 no. First of all, these are your God given rights. Uh, don't give them away. Once you give them away, it's very hard to get them back. The governors who are canceling all these things, they're not heroes. They're doing their job. They should never have done these mandates to begin with. Don't congratulate them. Tell them thank you for doing your job and don't ever do this again." That's what you should be saying to these people, okay? I mean, talk about gaslighting. Talk about gaslighting. Think about this. They strip you of your rights and abuse you for a year and threaten to put you in jail for breaking their edict. And then when they reverse the edict, you turn around and call them a hero. That's what abusive relationships look like, you guys. Right? You get abused for a year, you get beaten around, you get battered, and then when your abuser, like, lets you out of the house to go sit on the porch, you look at them like they're a hero. That's what abusers do, you guys. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's not easy standing up for your rights. If it were, if it were easy, then more people would have fought in the revolution. But it was only about 10% of the population that did that. And so the question that I ask every single day is, where are you? Where do you fall in that spectrum? Are you in that percentage that's just going to keep fighting, that's going to be in that category, where somebody at a store picks up the phone and calls the police because you didn't comply to their edict? Or are you going to be the one that's saying, whatever, it's just a thing, it's just a mask? I mean, you know, I'm actually having a dilemma right now about a situation that's coming up because I have to go on a trip, and it's a pretty long trip, and I'm seriously looking at whether I should drive because um, because I don't want to get on a plane. I don't want to spend money. I don't want to give them my money uh, to be treated the way they treat me. I might just drive. I don't know. What do you guys think? Just rent a car and drive so I don't put miles on my car. Something to think about, isn't it? It's a long way. I could hire an assistant and just talk to my assistant the whole time and get work done. That would be good. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But speaking of outside the box, speaking of fighters, uh, um, take the train. You know what, Carol? I might look into the train. We'll see. That's a good idea. Um, Speaking of fighters, I've been pretty dialed into Mike Lindell these days because he has really, I think Mike Lindell is going to save the country. Honestly, I mean, the man is such a fighter. Maybe I should hire Minnie. That's a good idea, Marianne. Um, she's super efficient, isn't she? So yeah, Mike Lindell. So Mike Lindell, he's doing something that I think is really interesting. Mike Lindell reminds me of Brer Rabbit. Um, you guys know who that is? He really, or maybe Brer Fox. Um, Mike Lindell is Mike Lindell is sort of out there. He's doing something that Trump has perfected over time. He's really smart, and he's a really good businessman. Obviously, he came from a crack addiction, and now he has the My Pillow company. Yeah, so Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, that's from the Tar Baby. That's the song of the South. Okay, it's probably banned everywhere in the world now. But so the whole idea is that you 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 basically you play dumb, right? And and when they come for you, you object to the thing that they're threatening to do, when in fact that's what you want them to do, right? And in the case of Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox, like Brer Rabbit, his favorite place in the world was to be in the briar patch. And so when they came for him and they were going to punish him, he just kept begging and begging and begging. He kept begging and begging and begging and saying, you know, whatever you do, don't throw me in that briar patch. Lord, don't throw me in that briar patch. Please don't throw me in the briar patch. And so then he gets thrown in the briar patch because, it's reverse psychology. And that's what Trump has done a lot, right? He just plays reverse psychology on them, and and then they do what he wants. And so I think that Mike Lindell is in that category because one of the things about Mike Lindell that I've noticed is that he has a very simple way of speaking, and he has a winsomeness about him, like when he was describing that time when he went to meet the president in the White House, and he showed up and he had that notepad, and it had all those notes on the back that the reporters could see, and it was accidentally that they got pictures of it. um I think that he is like crazy like a fox, right? he acts like he's sort of naive and he talks really simply and he does a lot of the same things that Trump does. Have you noticed that? Um, he does that. He just sort of plays like he's like a dude. He's like, "Well, and then they wouldn't let me in the then they weren't going to let me meet with the president." And he always talks like he doesn't quite know why or what's going on or how it all happened. And that he just sort of ended up there. But the truth is he's really smart. And yeah, he is super streetwise. Yeah, he's very street smart, isn't he? And so that is uh, that is what I think is happening because I think that Mike Lindell is doing a whole lot that is being completely overlooked by the media because because they think he's stupid. They think that he's just a guy. They think that he's just the pillow guy. They completely underestimate him, just like they thought that Trump was just that reality TV guy. They thought that Trump was just that real estate guy, the Don, the pillow guy, the Don. What do they know? Think about that. Do you see it? Yeah, I've thought this for a while. I mean, he has self-funded this entire investigation into the election fraud for the public. He's funded a documentary on it. Um, and now he's starting his own social media company. Isn't that interesting? But here's the thing. It takes a while to get a social media company going. And we know that President Trump has been working on draining the swamp. And so imagine if Trump came out and said, "Yep, I've got my own social media company, um, and I've been working on it, and it's going to be great." Well, or if Trump said, "I've been investigating voter fraud, and I've got all the data, and I'm going to show it to you now." Well, what if the pillow guy is actually running point for the president? What if we have more than one stable genius involved here? I would put Len Wood in that category as well. Because, the media and the rhinos and the haters have put them all in the crazy box, haven't they? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Like, you know, somebody just put the name of the social media company. Is it VOCAI? Is that what it is? Yeah. I just think that, yeah, these people that are getting marginalized, right? And canceled. Think about it. The people that are at the forefront here have been canceled. I think the stable geniuses have banded together. I think Patrick Byrne may be in that category. The jury is out on that. Um, because Patrick Byrne came out with his book and he's talking about how much in disarray the White House was and how the president was being lied to and how and Mike Lindell was talking about that too. So it sort of paints this picture of the president as a victim. I just think there's a lot here, and so now Mike Lindell has the Dominion people suing him. Why would they do that? I mean, there's going to be discovery, you know? Well, I know that Patrick Byrne really is a genius. The other people are too. Mike Lindell is a numbers guy. You know, he's a statistician. Like he sees patterns, he sees numbers. So does Patrick Byrne. So does the president, President Trump. I don't know if you've ever watched President Trump in a press conference when he's looking at a balance sheet, or you know, when he's actually looking at a balance sheet and he's looking at statistics and he's looking at data. If you've ever noticed that, you can see him calculating patterns and data in his head. Have you ever noticed that? That's why sometimes he stops, he'll stop, and you know, when he's holding onto a balance sheet or something, he's calculating percentages and that kind of thing uh, in his head. So I just think there's a lot more going on there behind the scenes. I think that those people, I think that there's a stable of stable geniuses that may have been working together to put together a lot of evidence and um, to come up with what we're going to see, with some of the revelation that's going to come out. I don't know. Um, but it does make sense, doesn't it? That the pillow guy would be positioning himself as just sort of a bumbling, like, businessman, you know? Think about it. And here's the thing with the pillow guy. He's a really strong believer. And you know, he's been on some panels with Hank Kunneman, with some of the prophetic people, and he is you know, he's really walking in the spirit, and he's really seeing what God sees here. And so he has the edge, he has the advantage, because you know, God knows everything. God sees everything. And I think that this is another reason why Mike Lindell is going to succeed, and this is another reason why uh, the information that he's getting and putting out is so valuable, because he has wisdom and revelation that comes straight from the Holy Spirit. Do you see what I mean? So this story is far from over, you guys, and I think you see that. I think you're seeing that. Uh, so um, if you buy from My Pillow, you can use the code from our favorite letter to get money off. Are they still using that code? Um, yeah. So somebody said that Patrick Byrne put down our intelligence insider. That's okay. Not everybody is out there supporting that. And even if they were behind it, people have strategic reasons for not being publicly behind it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Don't get too hung up on that kind of thing. Um, so you guys, I'm just looking at my email. Do you remember when the president told the RNC to stop using his name to raise money? Uh, so I just got an email from the RNC. Melania Trump's birthday is right around the corner. I'm going to send this to the president, tell him they haven't stopped. um, they're so horrible. Use the war room. Ann Vandersteel has a code too. She has a promo code. Um, Oh, Idaho Garden Girl has a really good comment here. She says Dr. Kevin McCarran, PhD, is exposing the corruption in the companies that have produced the vaccine. YouTube keeps taking down his channels. His latest channel is uh, Corona Chan, CAMGIFU, Japan. That's interesting. Okay. So, interesting. I think it's okay to use the word tax. Maybe you won't get censored for using that word, but let's just all call it a Maxine. I think that's kind of interesting. So, what do you think is going to happen tonight with the public address. The because the person that they installed in the Oval Office is addressing the public, I think for the first time in since his inauguration. What do you think's going to happen? Yeah, the RNC has been trying to get money out of me. They're not going to get any money. The president has a PAC now. Go to donaldjtrump.com. Don't give them your money. I think today is the fake speech by the fake president. Uh-huh. So I had this idea. I thought it would be kind of interesting if this happened. I thought that what if he got up there on national TV, because all the networks are going to carry it, unlike with our president. They're going to carry it, and then what if he got up there and said, "Hey, guys, I need to tell you something. I was put in office illegally. The vote was stolen. We stole your votes. We pretended we got away with it, but we really didn't." Wouldn't that be something? And he had it, and he did it all in, um, he did it all in real time on national TV. Wouldn't that be interesting? I think that would be really interesting. Um, I don't know if it would happen, but you know, I just thought it would be interesting. Yeah, we have the most expansive, exhaustive voter fraud organization in the history of the world. I mean, crazy. I just thought it would be very interesting if they did that. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Hey, hold on a second. Paul on Facebook said, "I'm still getting text messages from Donald Trump's team using the term President Trump." It's not from the RNC. I wouldn't. I don't know that I would trust anything now. The only thing I've subscribed to is Don Jr.'s newsletter, and then if you go on donaldjtrump.com, that's the only website. That's the only website where I would sign up for anything right now. You think it would be better for President Trump to step in and say it? I don't know. It was kind of interesting watching Biden the other day when he was asking if he was allowed. When he said, "Hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What should I do next?" Remember when he was saying, he was talking to, I guess, Nancy Pelosi, right? What should I do, Nance? So here's something that I want to say to you guys that are worried right now, that you're living in a place of worry. Um, be very careful about what you speak, uh, what you're speaking, because your words have power. And I get that some of the things are um, unpleasant and a little scary, but you know, um, be very careful about that, because we don't want to agree with the lies of the enemy. Our country is not lost. It's not going to be lost. Okay. And I know it's not easy. Um, did Trump really tell Biden in the book, Joe, I don't understand that question. So, yeah, yeah, if HR1 passes, yeah, yeah. It is, it is time to hold the line. That's what I'm saying. Don't agree with that. because that's not God's agenda for this nation to be lost. So there's only one other agenda, and that's not God's will for this nation. So I'm just saying, be careful who you agree with. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Choose life that you may live. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, people are thinking that this is going to be the start of the 25th Amendment, invoking the 25th and putting Kamala in office. Kamala. Kamala stands like a man. Have you noticed that? It's really bizarre. Really bizarre. You know I won. He did win. He did. Okay. So listen, tomorrow's my birthday. I'm not broadcasting. And I will be back on Monday at 5:30 Eastern, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of next week. And so I encourage everybody to take a little bit of time off of social media. The George channel is not as active right now. They've had a lot of problems with bots on the Telegram, and then they're doing some traveling. They're on some press junkets, and so they're not. They said that there may be fewer YouTubes over the next week because they're overseas. I know it's really hard. It's really hard to handle, but that's just what the situation is right now. So, yeah. Happy 25th birthday. Thank you so much. I'm aging in reverse. It's the superfoods. So, so make sure, speaking of superfoods, please don't forget to write to me and get your superfoods uh, coupon code so that you can save over $100 off. I mean, you guys have heard me talking about superfoods. You know that people have lost a lot of weight. The thing is, people are getting healthy. I have a friend who was in the hospital recently, and she went in for a knee replacement. That's a whole nother topic, but she went in for that, and she got really sick. She got an infection. She almost died, and she was on all kinds of antibiotics. She was admitted to the hospital with all kinds of complications, and she got really, really sick. And so we got her on superfoods because she wanted to rebuild her body and bounce back from all the antibiotics and the anesthesia and all of that. And so she got on the superfood. She started like a week ago, and I was talking to her yesterday, and she said, "Mary Grace, I can't thank you enough." She said, "I was in my office yesterday, and for the first time in months, I could actually think, and I was able to really work and to get something done." And this is a week on the superfoods. That's what I'm talking about. There's a restoration that is possible with what we have, and so that's tremendous. Weight loss is a great uh, additional outcome, but that's not the only thing that is the benefit. And so think about that. Uh, it's pretty tremendous. So write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and make sure that you are not wasting another minute uh, eating the standard American diet. You're going to save over $100 on your order off of the retail for a full month's supply. It's 60 meal replacements, which is amazing. And so just invest in your health. And, with everything that's happening right now, you need to make sure that you are not relying on government health care to take care of you. Linda, where's the best place to find recipes? If you're in the Telegram rooms, we have a website that you can go to that has all kinds of resources. And there's a book, there's like a book of recipes that's on there. It's like a 30-page book. There's also a ton of recipes in the Facebook group. So, okay, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And if you're not following my Telegram channel, it's Mary Grace Media Official. I do put information in there. Yesterday, I put a video of myself at the medical clinic with my dad. We were both getting our high potency vitamin C infusions, and people thought I was at the ER. Sorry about that. That's not why I was there. So, yeah. So listen, I'll be back Monday. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you everybody for participating here today. And we will be back on Monday at 5:30 Eastern. Make sure you're following all of my channels here. Mary Grace Media on Facebook, YouTube, Cloud Hub channel 111, and Periscope, Real Mary Grace right now. Follow the Mary Grace Media. It's just not up right now because they suspended it, but we'll get it back. Okay, I will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.